back in Iowa today, but before we get into tonight's hunt, I want to give y'all a little update. We've been struggling these last couple weeks. Obviously, if y'all been watching the videos, we haven't killed hardly anything this year. Ted told me the other day, it's like we've killed an antelope doe so far. And we have a really, really big western surprise for you guys next August. As far as the whitetail hunting goes, they've been kicking our ASS pretty much for the last month and a half. However, we have found a bunch of big bucks in just the last couple weeks. And we're just going through the process of mid-October and early October and trying to get in tighter to the bedding. We've been setting a bunch of observation lately. We all sat last night, filmed from a long distance, and we've been seeing a pile of deer. Ted got a doe the other night. We haven't been back in the thick cover where I think a lot of these bucks are living at. And as you can tell, we're in here today. So let's get up here and see what we're working with. Like I said, I haven't been in here, so I don't know what the heck we're gonna get into. But it's thick, boy. It's thick. Basically followed rubs from the car all the way here. And there's acorns everywhere in here. A lot of blue jays fussing up there. Some of these rubs are fresh, some of them are a week or two old, but they're in here thick. Let's go down to this transition, see what we can see, and then we'll decide if we need to come back up. I mean, you saw how close we just buggered a couple of does, guys, right on top of this ridge. But it's so wet and windy, I got within 20 yards of them before they got up. I'm not real scared of boogering a deer like that. Because if they just see you and take off, they don't know what the heck you were.
We surprised them.
Yeah, we surprised them. Then they just kind of eased off, bounded off. They probably just went into this bottom over here and calmed back down. That Lincoln Branch ain't very old. Last week or two. Bunch of deer. I mean, it's only 5 o'clock and there's already 6 deer out there, and I could not see that from the other side. Because me and Roy glassed this other side yesterday evening. Yeah, there's more coming too. See him coming across. Out there on the far end of that little opening. Just to the left of the willows.
Nice buck, Warb.
Hmm?
It's a pretty nice buck.
Yeah.
He's acting like he's an older deer. Rack size, he's not huge.
Me and Curl observed this whole big, thick bottom yesterday from the other side. And I saw a group of bucks over here. They were 800 yards away, so I couldn't really tell much about them. Benjamin and I are just using these wet, windy conditions to kind of sneak up this transition to where we can peer out in these little pockets amongst all this thick bedding cover. There's this one little pocket out there that's slightly higher than the rest, and it's got this green vegetation. It almost looks like turnips, and I think that's the 7th or 8th deer that we've seen go out there. Nice buck. We're just not really in the game tonight. We're still sitting back and observing.
It's looking juicy.
Yeah.
But it's not the sauce.
That's the thing about hunting mature bucks in October. You spend 90% of your time just trying to find the dang things. And if you got a picture of them in the middle of the night, you ain't found them. You just know that they're in the general area. But if you do find them, and you find where they're spending their time during daylight, like their bedding areas, you got a good chance at them because they don't seem to move very far. Pretty sure we saw that buck last night, and he was in the same spot as he is tonight. Just went back to the right, kind of where he came from initially.
Mm-hmm. But you can't see him anymore. He just walked behind the tip of it.
Oh, there's deer up on that hill.
See that one we just saw?
Up in the corn?
Mm-hmm.
hank there, though.
That's a big one. See his lips.
We don't want to make a move on him, but we got deer right here. We're just going to end up blowing them. Well, we just spotted another big buck. We have 2 young bucks right down here below us. Bunch of doe. I don't know, there's just deer everywhere. The biggest buck that we saw all night is out here about 300 yards in the middle of this bottom. He's just working a scrape. And we still got enough wind and enough time to get closer to him, but we've got these 2-year-old bucks and these does right here in this field. If they clear out, then maybe we can drop in there. He definitely didn't come from the right. I'm assuming he came from back here along the edge of that corn.
Look at him. He's bucking.
He looks like he's upset about something.
Yeah, he's got a demeanor to him. There's gotta be a deer we don't see.
Gotta be. I don't know how many deer we saw, but because they were just zigging and zagging all over this bottom in front of us, I'm sure we saw some of the same bucks. There was at least 2 or 3 nice bucks that I'd probably shoot.
One for sure.
One for sure, big mature buck. I've marked the spot where they all kind of went, where they met up. There's 2 little short bands of willows out there that there must be scrapes under, because a bunch of the bucks went to the same spot, including that biggest one. And Benjamin are gonna drop some pins. Hope to come back in and chase these things in the next few days. We're putting the ghillie suits on right now. It's like 1 o'clock. It's super early, but we got a cold front coming through this afternoon, and northwest wind is just starting to blow right now, and by dark it's supposed to be like 20 miles an hour out of the west-northwest. Ben and I observed this bottom, I think 4 days ago. We had another little mini cold front that night, and we saw a couple of big bucks. One really nice buck. They were way out in the middle of this bottom, out in this thick security cover, willows, grass and stuff. And they're actually like feeding on some natural vegetation down there that was real green. It almost looked like turnips. I don't know what it is, but I guess we're about to find out. Because that evening we just sat back and watched them from a distance. We watched all those bucks, or at least the majority of the bigger bucks, go by and hit one scrape. So I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna take the decoy along as well. And if we can get set up in the willows right next to that scrape and it looks good and our wind is right, probably just gonna sit right there and maybe not even use the decoy. But if we can't get in a good ground setup right there, we may have to back off a little bit, in which case I probably will use it. So try to get in there amongst them tonight. I'm excited. This spot was loaded with bucks the other day, and today is just as good a weather, if not better. So we should see some deer. I can probably get like right in here, and then you right back there. Then I can put the decoy like right here, and if he comes across, we can shoot him right here and they'll open at 15, 20. I'm gonna get this decoy put together and I'm gonna set it right over here. We need to clear all these leaves out because it's really loud in here. You look like a Jedi Knight. You really do.
I'm more proud of the staff than I am.
We got our decoy set up right here. And you all can see that line of willow trees right there. Most of the bucks Monday night came right there and out into this meadow in front of us. They were working scrapes and rubs and stuff all out in there. So I would anticipate them to be bedded over there and off the point of those willows out in some of that grass. And they'll work this way as it gets closer to dark. And hopefully we can call to them and they can see Floyd right there, and then they'll come right here in front of us. But
Oh, Floyd.
yeah, I'm sure you guys can see this blind that we built. We just took a bunch of dead vegetation and stacked it up in here. We got out in here and it took me forever to pick out a spot to set up. because this is kind of the exact area that I want to be in, but we got to looking at these, what are they, cottonwoods? And it was just a little too open. Finally, we just decided like this is going to be the best spot for the wind. Our wind is blowing back into these cottonwoods. You can see it back behind Benjamin. And there's lots of this dead brown vegetation in here, so we just stacked it up. And I cleared out a little spot right here on the ground because these leaves are loud and crunchy, but it's so windy, I don't think anything's going to hear us. We just cleared it out just in case. And I got a shooting lane right through there. I can shoot right through there. And then I can shoot everything out in front, in between me and the decoy. Benjamin's going to be set up about 10 feet behind me, up in his little clump of brush back there. But with his ghillie suit on, I mean, he's going to be blending in really, really good. I'm a little bit concerned that some does may come in first and get spooky, but I don't think we're going to get a mature buck in front of us in bow range without that decoy. This is as close as we could get to that scrape tree where he was doing all that mule kicking and stuff. They're feeding on this stuff that looks like brassicas. Like it seriously looks like a wild turnip of some kind. But it's all over these bottoms out here. And as you all can tell, it's super thick in here. I mean, these deer are getting pressured up there in the hardwoods up above and on those ag fields. That's where people hunt. But nobody comes down in these thick bottoms because you can't get in a tree anywhere. I'd say that's why there's some big bucks down here. Let's get settled. Just before 6. We got 2 does out here right now in front of us, like 50 or 60 yards. I can't get up. The sun is just beating down on me right here. I'm just waiting for the sun to go over the horizon. And then I'm going to try to creep up a little bit and see what else is out there. I'm sure there's more deer out there right now. I just can't. If I sit up, I'm going to be exposed until that sun goes down. See him? He's just not interested in coming over here. Every time he hears me do something, he just goes and rakes another tree. Dang it, man. I'm gonna have to bump him. What else do you do? I'm gonna coyote howl at him. Instead of taking apart all the pieces of his head, I just grabbed his head and packing it out. Trying not to make much noise. The coyote howled right there at last light, and it seemed to work. The second or third time that I howled, you could just hear them take off. But they didn't like blow and spook like they would if you would have just stood up and walked out. They all just kind of took off and then stopped. It was like they ran up in the edge of the woods and then just stopped there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was non-stop running for just a few seconds and then nothing.
Yeah, a lot of deer crossing water.
Yeah, but no blowing.
Nope, not a single blow.
So I'm hoping that's a better outcome than us just standing up and blowing them ourselves. Before we set up right there at the end of those cottonwoods, we were thinking about getting out there to that patch of willows. I mean, we sat there and hemmed and hawed around about it for 10 minutes. But what I was worried about was if we went to those willows that does would come in, get downwind before the buck showed up. And does definitely came in on the downwind side of those willows. Since we had the decoy, I figured we'd just sit off of it a little bit with gun season starting tomorrow and Greg having a muzzleloader tag. I just figured it'd probably be better just to sit back off of him. And then if the decoy works, we'll bring him straight in, get a good shot. If not, we can pick up everything and get out of there without boogering up too much. That way maybe Greg can come in there, because if Greg would have been sitting where we were tonight, dude.
He had shot opportunities all day.
Oh, gosh. He'd have smoked a heck of a buck. That thing, for some reason, though, did not want to come into this decoy. I know he could see it. Like, every time he'd look over there, I would rake a tree or something like that, and he got him all fired up. He went over there and was making scrapes and rubbing and everything, but he just didn't. He didn't want to come in for a fight.
No.
It's almost like he just isn't quite amped up enough yet. Still a good hunt. Saw a lot of deer, a lot of bucks. Big hoss there that we were after.
He's comfortable, unless someone else comes in there and boogers him up.
Yeah, I just don't think we would have boogered him that bad with the coyote howl, because we didn't blow. A single deer didn't blow at us the whole time we got out of there.
No, you gotta believe there's coyote tracks down there.
Oh, yeah, coyotes run down through there. There's coyotes everywhere down in there. Yeah. Me and Greg filmed one with 3 legs down there last year. We gotta get out of here. Hopefully Greg can get back in here in the next couple days and shoot one with the smoke pole. Oh yeah, I need my light back, Benjamin. I can't see where I'm going.
There you go.
Thanks.
We'll see you.
See you guys. Thanks for watching.